The show that looked daylight savings time in the eye and said, "To hell with you."
That's right. It's Monday. How's it going, everybody? Midnight's Edge after dark. Glad we survived another weekend. Some of us just barely. I'm, of course, your narrator, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming to you from Shabby Road Studios. On today's show, Dr. Sleep asleep at the box office. Anthony Daniels, tweet deciphered. Ryan Johnson being a dick, but then again, what else is new? And a whole lot more. Joining us, as always, is Mr. Tom Connors.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying our new time slot, moving things up a little bit.
Also joining us is from the channel John Talks, John.
Thank you for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
We also have actually another new face. This guy, he does some great work on his own channel. Deep dives into a lot of stuff. The one, the only, the Literature Devil.
Hello, hello. Glad to be on.
Yes, I've actually been wanting to have you on for a while now, but well, that's my own fault. I think, so.
Rob doesn't know how to pull a trigger.
No, I don't. And of course, we have your favorite YouTube heartbeat. She has an Emmy, an ESPY, a Tony, a Bammy, a BAFTA, a Grammy, an Oscar, a PhD, a MA, a BA, a BS.
And a Ryan Johnson flacker.
And a Ryan Johnson flacker. Mecca Random.
Hello.
Okay, everybody.
Ryan Johnson. You said the name.
Oh, we always say we say his name 3 times he appears. So, and that's
stop it, Dodo!
Ryan, now quit talking like that. That's not nice. That's not nice.
We'll have plenty of time to beat on Mr. Thompson.
That's right.
But,
speaking of our new guests, this is both the first time for Literature Devil and for John Talks, correct? I don't think we've ever had John before, have we, John?
No, we've done quite a few,
other
live streams together. Yeah, but this is my first time on After Dark, so it's honor to be here.
Yes.
I was like, we got to get you on here. So, yeah.
Yes. Actually, like I said, it's the first time having Literature Devil on. And just to explain, introduce yourself and explain what you do. And tell us about your comic, actually.
Yeah, well, my channel usually covers like modern media and look a little deeper into what's actually happening underneath the scales. Usually, I go into characterization. I can cover things about storytelling structure. The last video I produced before my current one was Western versus Eastern storytelling. So if you want to know the structure on how to make a manga or an anime, the formula is in there. So if you're interested in that, the one I just released though is called "Why Rey's and Mary Sue and Luke Skywalker Is Not," because apparently for some reason that's still a debate that's being pushed. It's still an argument that's being pushed that, well, if Rey's and Mary Sue, then so is Luke Skywalker, and this is obviously something only held a belief only held by the delusionary. So but I went ahead and did it anyway because it was such a hot topic, and I wanted to thoroughly go through it and leave the opposition with absolutely nothing. Of course, they really had nothing to begin with, but now they're going to have even less. So all they have now are their imagination and, of course, their delusions. They always have those. And that's what my channel covers. And usually I cover things like structure, story structure, and characters and story media, that sort of thing. And about my comic, though, I just recently finished not so recently, maybe some months ago, I finished a series on my channel called Is Comics Gate Wrong? And by the end of that channel, that series, I had announced my comic Dr. Alpha Miracle Child, which is still available on Indiegogo. I think it's about 18 days left to gather the rest of the funds I need to get. I think we're at 17,830 as of today, and we need to get to 25,000 by the end of the 18 days. But it's basically it's like takes a lot of inspiration from Alan Moore's Killing Joke specifically, and Frank Miller. It's if you look at the Killing Joke, kind of goes into the past and the mentality of the Joker. This is what kind of happens in the Miracle Child. Dr. Alpha he's based off of Tyler Durden mostly. His personality, his way of his characterization and his look, it's kind of based off of Tyler Durden. You know, that mischievous sort of personality. But he's one of the most dangerous supervillains in the galaxy in this universe. And there's a lot of twists and turns. I actually used a pulp formula to write it, so there's a lot of fast-paced twists and turns going on. And if you're interested in seeing my writing style or hearing stories I've written, I do have live story readings on my channel as of right now. 2 of those readings actually cover stories that take place in the Dr. Alpha universe. So if you want to check that out, it's on Indiegogo. It's called Dr. Alpha Miracle Child. There's a long list of a lot better and more detailed explanation on there if you want to take a look.
And we'll definitely get that link from you so we can share it in the description after the show. Thank you for showing up today. It's been amazing meeting you.
That's fantastic. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you haven't seen this series about Comicsgate, actually go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
I post those actually quite frequently in the Midnight's Edge Facebook group.
And I will post the Indiegogo right now in the chat.
The shoot down arguments people have about Riri Williams. So, Riri Williams is a great character. Yeah, she's not.
she's not like at all. Not even a little bit. He's a horrible character, just like Ray is.
I call a lot of what's going on nowadays Fortnite storytelling, where you Well, you create a character just by, choose your skin, your features, and click confirm. And they're just empty vessels for what people want to see on screen, want to see themselves on screen.
Yeah, the parapants for the egotistical. That's pretty much how it goes nowadays.
That's always the excuse. I want to see myself on screen. And I always say, listen, if I want to see myself on screen, I'd go see nothing but Jack Black movies. I mean, really.
It'd be boring to see just someone who's just superficially like you on screen, because that's the only criteria that they have for these characters. Or they have to have the same skin as I do. They have to have the same. Well, in case of Riri Williams, they have to have the same haircut as I do, and et cetera and so forth. So that's pretty egotistical, and it's very boring because they can be different every other way. Their only criteria is if it's going to be one character, that character must match demographic X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing. I don't know if if you're familiar with Star Trek Discovery. Actually,
I'm more on the Trekkie side than I am on the Star Wars side. So I do love Star Trek. I'm not the kind of Trekkie that actually cares about meeting the actors or buys any of the stuff. But I'm on the side that loves the shows and the universe and everything. So
if you want to see no better clear-cut example of a Mary Sue, the main character of the new Star Trek show, Michael Burnham, or as we call her, Mikey Stu Spock.
my screen accurate in action figure comes in handy.
Yeah. She's like a block of wood, yes. With 0 points of articulation.
Which is so fitting considering the name Mary Sue comes from a Star Trek fan film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not to cut this off, we also have another guest with us today, which is a rarity. John Talks is also here. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. For those who don't know you, John, why don't you give them a rundown about your channel and what you do on the YouTubes?
So my channel is called John Talks, and I talk about pop culture, movies, and pretty much a lot of SJW stuff, I guess you could say, about these movie franchises getting woke, etc. Seems to be a current theme, but I do venture into some other things, and especially on live streams. So, but it is for the most part all pop culture. So you want to, Star Wars is a big thing. Joker's been a big thing as of late. The MCU from time to time, and a little DCEU, but not as much. But I would like to get into that a little bit more. So that's pretty much my channel in a nutshell.
All right. So without further ado, Rob, what do you say we crack open that news?
Yeah, well, we talked about getting woke. Should we cover the Bond thing first?
If you want to, I'm cool with that.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of the de facto Bond expert.
Oh, I want to hear your take on this one because I do confer with Rob on a lot of my Bond videos too because I'm like more of a casual Bond fan. But yeah,
And you're talking about the one I sent you, right?
Yeah, from the Daily Mail.
Well, this one I just dropped in here.
Okay.
Exclusive, the wokest 007 ever. James Bond gets an electric Aston Martin and a wife who refuses to take his second name in the new Time to Die. New Time to Die? No Time to Die. Proofread your shit, Daily Mail. Then again, it is the Daily Mail. But Rude Innuendo survives thanks to Fleabag's Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Okay, let's, okay, I understand the whole thing, the electric car initiative. Okay, that's fine, but at the same time, it's impractical for a secret agent or to have an electric car. Because I don't know if anybody else is a fan of Top Gear, but James May actually said about the electric car a number of years ago, if you drive something that goes 10 yards and then takes 4 hours to bring back to life, we've gone backwards. I mean, you're in a high speed chase and then you're stuck.
You're to a halt.
Time out. I've got to plug it in.
I actually covered this in a stream earlier. I just had a little stream on my own earlier today, but I actually talked about that. There's nothing manly about an electric car. I don't know.
That's what I said too.
You could be a man and have an electric car, but there's nothing manly about it. Don't be delusional, okay? There's nothing manly or masculine about an electric car.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, there's something about gasoline too.
Yeah.
Like
you want to smell the engine. You want to smell
exactly.
That's
manly. You want to hear it. You want to here's the thing. Why women like loud cars? Because the vibrating motor. If you guys get where I'm going with that, so just fill in the blanks there. It's more masculine, it's more manly, it's sexy. It's that little instinct in your head that's like, oh, this guy is going to give me a ride, and that's all this whole Bond is doing is they're just taking away 1 inch of this guy's dick at a time. And well, first up is the electric car. So sorry for interrupting, Rob.
No, but while we're talking about cars, who's going to go see Ford versus Ferrari this weekend?
Oh yeah. I wanted to go see that, actually. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it this weekend, but that was a pretty interesting film I wanted to go see.
That's the story of my life. Ford versus Ferrari. One I can afford, one I'll never have.
Yeah, I'll probably see it down the line. It might be one of those movies where I don't get a chance to see it at the theater, but it looks great.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Mary Sue to publish their piece. Ford versus Ferrari is rife with toxic masculinity. Go fuck yourself.
There's not enough diversity in this movie.
Oh, I should be giving you the Ryan Johnson Mary.
As someone on YouTube, I'm very grateful for the Mary Sue because it's like a one-stop shop for all the nonsense.
Yes. I have a whole playlist. Like they are just the lowest hanging fruit, but they're also satisfying to like just take a shot at because they don't spell their articles correctly. They don't have sources. They don't have anything other than their little bratty child schoolgirl opinions, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they're like zombies in the TV show. No one feels bad. You can rip them to pieces as hard as you want, and no one feels bad, and there's no guilt to be had.
Yes.
He is a poet.
Yeah, but it's almost too easy at times. Well, okay. Well, let's get through this. Okay, fans might be surprised that Innuendo has survived the woke Bond makeover. Well, that's just throwing a bone to the longtime fans. It's been billed as the most politically correct James Bond movie yet, but No Time to Die has not entirely done away with Benny Hill-style innuendo, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. In one scene, Daniel Craig's suave secret agent is struggling to get a seaplane airborne as his passenger cries out, "Get it up! Get it up!" prompting the wry reply, "I've never had a problem with that before."
Implying that he does now. Like, see, again, 1 more inch of his dick.
You got to find a way to make that into a T-shirt somehow.
We're working on it. We already have it.
James Bond needs to be single. He needs to have a gasoline-powered car or a diesel-powered car. One of those two. Something loud, something like sleek, and something very, very nice, very gentlemanly, but powerful and masculine. And he needs to kill bad guys, and he needs to get the women. Okay, that's what James Bond needs to do.
Bond fans Bond fans had a fit when he drove a BMW.
Well, as they should.
In
As they should.
GoldenEye and in Tomorrow Never Dies and in the few Brosnan movies. I mean, I can't imagine how this is all going to go over. I really can't.
I mean, this is worse. This is an electric car we're talking about.
How and why? When you're saving the world, the last thing you need to worry about is, being economical when it comes to gas and globally sound and all this bull crap.
Environmentalism is the key.
What is he like? I blowed up so much shit. It's time I do my part.
It's probably his wife's car. She probably buys it for him. That's probably what happens. She probably replaces whatever car he had from the last. What was the one he had? Rob will know. And she probably says, "Here, I got you a new car. It's electric."
Honey, where did the Aston Martin go?
Gone from Agent Bond to Agent Minivan. They're going to give him a stalker mom's car.
gosh.
I bet you.
Oh,
We can't have
worried
kids
about
in
his
that
wife.
car.
He's gonna be driving a little smart car after a while here.
That's the other option, I think. Those little ones that have no air conditioning, just barely big enough for one person. That's the other option I think they're going to give him.
Oh, for God's sake.
Siri, how do we get to, what is it called again? Chuck E. Cheese?
Dude, did we get to the part where she won't take his name yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
Gosh, it's the emasculation of James Bond. This is what it's going to go from like 007 to like 000.
This movie is not a movie. It's a sacrificial altar. It's a movie about them nailing James Bond to the cross so they can kill him once and for all.
And let me tell you something. People have. How many characters have you done that to? I mean, do we really need to do this with James Bond? You did it to Luke. Oh God, you did it to Luke Skywalker. You did it to Han Solo. You did it to Peter Parker. That stupid animated movie.
There
They've been
goes
trying to
6
go after
likes right
Captain
now.
Kirk.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've been trying to go after Captain Kirk. They're gonna probably take Picard's dick next.
Yeah,
I have one.
Yes,
And it still works.
I'll tell you what. If they go after Picard, I will officially declare war on the media that does so. I really like Star
It's
Trek.
not going to be good. We've been covering this is how I got I changed from gaming because of Star Trek, mostly because it pissed me off so much what they were doing to Discovery, and yeah, Picard's not going to be good.
I've heard, I've been told that I should cover Discovery, but I have to pay for that. I don't want to pay for.
Well,
I don't want to pay for garbage. Is what my problem here.
Oh,
We
you'd have a
surprisingly
field day with it.
well.
Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
we have surprisingly done pretty well with that. And we managed to save. I won't say where, but we managed to save quite a bit of money, haven't we, Tom?
In a roundabout way, yes.
Okay.
Oh, they're paying me to watch it. They're paying me to watch it at this point.
Yeah, not that we advocate such things, but we have managed
No, I'm
to
just
save.
saying I make more money on the ad revenue than it costs.
Honestly, I think that one Captain Rob's deal that did like over 30,000. I think it's probably over 40 by now. Almost paid for it on its own. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, let's continue. As fans who have come to love such double entendres might be surprised that they've survived the franchise woke makeover that has banned outdated sexism, introduced strong female. There are always strong female characters, such as Lashana Lunchlady Lynch as another top British secret agent. However, plans for her to become the first black female 007, taking over the codename from Craig's Bond after he retires, could be scrapped after a social media backlash. Sources say she is now likely to get another agent number, 001. Earlier this year, this newspaper revealed that Fleabag creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge, or as I call her, Fembot 3000, had been brought in as a scriptwriter to ensure the blockbuster was appropriate for the Pound Me Too era. I mean, and that's the irony. Like, they don't realize that it's not hashtag Me Too. It's Pound Me Too.
It's Pound Me Too. Yeah. You know what? They said that the double entendres have survived in this woke version. I bet you they didn't. I bet you the double entendres are all just actually jokes at James Bond's expense.
Like the one you brought up, like I never had problems with that before. That's their double entendres right there.
Yeah, that's it. It's all just each double entendre they're going to have in this movie. I bet you, each and every single one of them is going to be something that emasculates James Bond even further.
Oh yeah. Boy, and now we have learned more secrets from the £200 million movie due out in April. The script has Bond marrying Dr. Madeleine Swan, the psychologist played by French actress Léa Seydoux, who first appeared in 2015 Spectre. That was a horrible movie. But she refuses to take her new husband's name. The morning after their wedding, Bond wakes to a sleepy-eyed, Bond wakes sleepy-eyed and says, "Good morning, Mrs. Bond." To which she replies, "Don't you mean Mrs. Swan?" A source said the phrase "Bond girl" was outlawed from the set. The women in this film are all strong, brave. Notice they always say they're strong.
And they can't. It's redundant because they can't have any weak women anymore. Like, you can't have a woman character, a female character who's weak. They all have to be strong by mandate.
Strong, brave, and beautiful.
Yeah, and stunning.
Brave.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Gotta add that one.
Stunning with their mouth hanging open, catching flies like that. That dead-eyed stare. Well, that's LaShawn.
I mean, Bond should never be getting married. He should never be.
Thank you very much.
He should. If his wife should get killed, like literally the day after, and he should go back to being single. Like, there's no way Bond should be married.
Yeah, right. Bond gets married. His wife should be immediately fridged. Okay, immediately fridged.
Yeah.
So he can be spurned to go off on revenge or something. That's James Bond.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Bullet between the eyes, like Teresa DiVincenzo. Hold on, somebody wants me for something. Tom, stretch.
Yeah, it's all right. We got a super chat anyway. Mackenzie Lambert caught the title there. Time to Die, appropriate mistitling. As you can see in this big ass title they got here. Exclusive, the woke is 777. Yeah, Time to Die.
What kind of title is this? What kind of editor do they have that where they allow it?
It's a Freudian slip, I believe. I mean,
well, that's the theory, though. I mean, there's more. I think they're trying their best to kind of sprinkle in that sprinkle in. How do I put this? I have this theory that they release all of these little news articles and snippets to test out possible endings of their films, just like they're doing over in Star Wars, which we're going to get to in a bit probably here. But they're testing out possibly killing off Bond. You have Daniel Craig saying, "I'm tired of saying the catchphrase." You've said it 4 times, dude. I would say it 1,000,000 times if you pay me the kind of money you're making, Daniel Craig. Like, seriously. So they're sprinkling that out there. They have articles floating around that Emilia Clarke is going to replace him in the next one, or should replace him, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they're trying to test, hey, can we just kill him? What if we just kill him?
Wait, he's griping about having to say catchphrases?
Like Bond, James Bond. I know.
That would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger going, "Maybe this time we don't say I'll be back." No, it just don't work.
And
why would you not like to do that? Why would you not like to be James Bond, be playing James Bond, and
that's kind of goes, yeah, that kind of
Hollywood trend, though. That's the current like if you scroll down and you show some of these pictures of like Lashana Lynch or Brie Larson or any of these other sort of actors that I see nowadays, it's the really current trend of the really in vogue sort of actors. They like not one of them look like they want to be there. They have this indignant, entitled sort of expression on their face, like no, I'm being inconvenienced for having to take a photo here at this red carpet event. It's like, shut up, smile, entertain me. You're an entertainer. Do your job, or else I'm going to pick on that. And if that's the only photo that the media wants to use of you, maybe get better publicists, right?
Now, we'd be okay. Yeah. I would personally be okay with them killing off James Bond in a movie that wasn't this one. Like if he actually had a dignified death. Mm-hmm. But if they kill him off in this movie, it's going to be at the end of it's going to be the Passion of the Christ. Okay, it's going to be him going through this whole movie, being whipped and tortured and emasculated and beaten down until he's barely a wither of a man, and then killed off. It's going to be a disgrace for the character. So if he was, I would much prefer him to be killed off outside of this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I almost want this one to be canceled because it's almost just too disrespectful to do to a character like that. That is, and I get it. So it's current generation to just be okay, boomer. You're just a boomer. You're out.
Oh God, you had to go there.
You know how they are.
Well, here's the thing with this. I hope it goes down in flames, and I hope they realize, oh shit, we screwed up. And
just like Terminator,
I was just going to bring that up. Just like Terminator, and even though that had a bad couple movies to lead into this, I think the fact that the bringing back Linda Hamilton was their last ace in the hole, plus John Connor and doing him the way they did. Word got out, and people didn't like the looks of what they were doing to the franchise, women included, and nobody showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat in that movie and I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? I mean, this is everything now. And I know we get constantly, all you do is gripe
so
and bitch.
negative. Yeah, you're so negative. Well,
But
that's what
it's not our fault.
Right.
And I think the box office proves that, and we'll speak about the box office here in a little bit. But man, I don't know if Rob back yet.
Super chat.
Okay, Rob's not back yet. Hope everything's okay. Mexi Man and Cheese. I love that name. $2. It feels like Hollywood only hires ironic writers. No, the ironic thing is they hire writers who can't write or have no experience, and then they drive out those who actually do have life experience.
Yes, they had Danny Boyle for this movie, and like I'm sure Rob will tell you that when he gets back too. Danny Boyle is actually a decent filmmaker, and he had all these disagreements with Barbara Broccoli behind the scenes. So
he was almost built to make one of these kind of movies.
Exactly,
because he's
true.
like the British Tarantino almost. I mean,
Yeah.
like I brought up how many times that Tarantino should make one of these movies set in the '60s, and yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And you had Danny Boyle and he wouldn't work on it. It's kind of like how Star Wars is just getting to be such box office like a stink. You don't want to be even associated with it because it's going to just hurt you more than help you in Hollywood. And I think that's what they're doing with Bond too. And you can't even get good talented people. They've got Phoebe Waller-Bridge coming in along with 4 other writers just to Frankenstein a script together on this thing.
I remember Doomcock said something like this. I think in one of his past videos, and it's pretty interesting when he brought this up because he brought this up with Kathleen Kennedy, and that she's not really interested. Her focus is not making a good Star Wars movie. Her focus is to insulate herself to make herself unfireable. So she gets rid of all the good writers and surround herself with these SJW types, these ideologically driven people who are not talented and were picked because they're not talented or experienced because they will fight to hold that job. They will not go anywhere. They're not abandoned.
They conform easier too.
Because they can't find it. They won't get a better gig. They won't get a better gig, and they're so grateful to Kathleen Kennedy for this once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, that's the same thing that happens in retail too. I mean, what happens anytime they get a new manager coming in? Well, they either proceed to fire or encourage a lot of people who are there already to quit so they can bring in their own handpicked team of people that they've worked with from their store or from, they want all new people that are going to be loyal to them so that, you won't see and complain about how bad the new person's doing it. And that's pretty much any industry anymore, I think.
Right. We got a quick super chat. Sister Harrow coming in like our, what do you call it? Guardian Angel every show. An Australian $2 super chat. Thank you so much. She's also one of our mods. Thank her for that. But yeah, Rob, are you back yet? Hope everything's okay because normally he's not gone this long. But yeah, so there was this, and then recently, what was it, last week?
Did you want me to finish reading the article here? Let me pull it.
Was there more to it?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, if you want to move on, otherwise I was gonna say we could bring up the whole.
Let's eat all the meat off of this apple.
Yeah, go ahead and finish it if you want to.
This article is gold. Okay, the double entendres. Lashana Lynch is another top British secret agent. Let me go full screen so I can actually read this. Where was it? I gotta find it. Now it moved on me. Yeah, okay, but the double entendres. All right, that's where we're at. However, plans for her to become the first black female 007, taking the codename for Craig's Bond after he retires, could be scrapped after the social media backlash. They say she's now likely to get to the number 001. Well, yeah, because you can't hand somebody else's dick. That's what that is. I mean, the number is... This everything about this character is synonymous with his manhood, and if you give somebody else the number, obviously, I'm trying to find like the more. Oh yeah, refusing to get the husband's name. I'm scrolling here. A source said the phrase "Bond girl" was outlawed from the set.
That we've heard before, yeah.
Yeah, we've heard that one. Bond tries his usual seduction techniques, but then fails miserably. It's very funny.
Of course he does.
We know they're emasculating him. I think that was about it. I think that might have been the meat of this. Oh yeah, there's some other stuff. I don't know if I want to read this, but Lashana Lynch wanted to include including something that should not be in any sort of how do I delicately put this? A monthly thing that everybody's gonna go ooh about, and that's all you guys want to know. That belongs nowhere in a Bond film.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because they're obsessed with those things. It's weird. Like
I don't want to see that on TV. It's like, ew, I gotta deal with that myself. I don't want to see that. Or in a movie. So that's the other thing that they want to include in this.
at least are they going to have an abortion too? Because that's the other thing. It's because abortion is a sacrament in the Holy Church of wokeness.
Oh God. Who knows? Probably that'll probably be it too. So yeah, I think that was the
This whole fucking thing is a big ass abortion. I'm not even a Bond fan, and I'm just like, I mean, not that I'm not a Bond. I don't hate him or anything. I just have never really gotten into it. But I've noticed they're all free now on Vudu and a few other places. I'm like, I might catch up on them just so I can know what Rob's talking about. Usually, I mean, I know all the Bond-isms and stuff like that. But
my personal favorite is Sean Connery's Bond.
Yeah, he's good. You know, it's funny because like you see Star Wars and how Star Wars kind of got away from what it was originally in terms of like, hey, it's this Flash Gordon fun, sci-fi, space opera sort of thing. And now they want to, include this social commentary and just, insert the identity politics, et cetera, into it. And it's like Bond is doing the same thing here. It's like getting away from what makes Bond Bond. It's like Star Wars got away from what made Star Wars, and now Bond, it's like they want to do a pretty much a sex change operation on this thing.
Yeah, pretty much, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's like, don't you know your core audience? Like ultimately, all Bond fans want is a good Bond movie. Like we don't want you to reinvent the, to reinvent anything. Like just give us, a good, check all the boxes, change locations, change women, and just give us what we've known to be, James Bond.
I can't argue with that. We got a $2 super chat from Zach Frederick. $2. Do you guys think Star Wars should be rebooted? Maybe the last couple movies, but other than that, I mean,
just have Luke Skywalker at the very end of the Rise of Skywalker. Just have him wake up, and wow, what was that? That was an awful dream.
Andre said the same exact thing, and I said that, or you just have Finn wake up after, yeah.
Now, to me, Finn should have been the main character, if anyone at all, because he had the most interesting setup. Rey had nothing.
Exactly. Finn, what they did to Finn was criminal. Like, how do you have a character that, you introduce this cool guy, right? And he's a cool actor. I liked him in Attack the Block. I like John Boyega, right?
Stormtrooper and
cool.
Yeah. And you could even have given him some conflict, because you could have had, I love how they just totally like accepted him in, like, oh, he couldn't be a spy at all.
Right. What the hell is up with that?
God, they're the dumbest resistance ever.
And here I'm hoping the whole time through The Last Jedi that purple-haired Jurassic Park lady is a spy, because that's the only way her stupid character makes any sense.
Yep.
Yeah. It's criminal. Absolutely criminal what they've done.
Oh, should we just get on to Star Wars since Rob's not around?
Yeah, I think we.
All right, we've beaten this horse,
this
proverbial horse. Oh gosh, we've got tons of Star Wars news. Let's start out with the thing you found first, Mecca. Anthony Daniels posted on Twitter just the other day, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Kind of insinuating that he had finally wrapped his participation.
His exact words were finalizing my input on 9. So, and then that was tweeted out on the 9th. And of course, I said it's probably just like ADR. He's probably just going in and recording a few lines. But then again, it's like, okay, but he could be re-recording lines too. And that's probably likely.
Well, the part that stuck out to me, what's the part again where he talks about it sounds like he's implying that his character doesn't die like he thought he was going to. There's a line in that tweet.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the exact tweet here.
But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it goes with our reporting and others' reportings like Nerdrotic and Doomcock, and of course yours too, Mecca, and a few others. I don't know if you really reported on it much, but where we were talking about they were still shooting after all this time, and the main reason we went with the story is because out of a couple of different sources we had on it, the one that told us, the one source I don't think meant to tell us that Rise of Skywalker was necessarily still filming so much as they were excited to tell us that they were using the technology that they had been using on The Mandalorian for to finish shooting the Rise of Skywalker.
All right.
Wow.
So his exact words are, so many good things happening. Yesterday, a Lifetime Achievement Award from Lucasfilm, a big, joyous surprise, though the implication of my imminent demise was disturbing. I am honored. Today, finalizing my input on 9 and meeting a wonderfully vociferous crowd at Book Passage. So
Was it a real award? Because awards to me are meaningless these days.
It's a Lucasfilm award, so it's basically like getting a watch when you retire as a cop.
I've seen so many awards become this watered down. It's no longer an award of achievement or merit. It's more awards that you're in the right circles. You have the right politics. etc.
Is he even in the costume anymore? I don't even think he is.
He might be. I think when I seen the director and the Jedi, I think I might have seen him in the the documentary for The Last Jedi. I think I might have seen him in the costume. I could be wrong.
Okay. I mean, I could be wrong too. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that. He could still be, but I would imagine at this point they would have just got somebody else to do it and just had him do the voice, but I could be wrong. Because I mean, I know they used before he died, Peter Mayhew, they used him for a few close-ups or whatever, and stuff like that, I think. But other than that, or did he even get to live long enough to be in Force Awakens? I can't remember. He was in Force Awakens, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, just in close-ups though, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know, maybe if they did that just to have.
Yeah, Daniels is he's pretty old.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And he can't be
it.
as felt as he used to be. No, he's not fat or anything, but
that suit must have been a pain in the ass.
Oh, it was. They cut him constantly.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Well, the first one they've never built one before. So they didn't really think about shit. So where the arm comes in it, wherever you bend an arm or a leg or an ankle or anything, the plastic would literally slice into his skin.
Jeez,
on a day. They got better with the suits as they got through the films, but it was still just a very constrictive. He couldn't sit down, obviously, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a pain in the ass. I could imagine.
Yeah, I think one time he almost had a panic attack. I don't know if it was like a panic attack.
Yeah, he said he almost did, or he did have a panic attack, and it was the only of all the times being in the suit, which was ironic because he had been in it now, for all those years at this point, because it was in Return of the Jedi, and it was when Salacious B. Crumb was pulling out his eyeball, and he's like, I can't breathe, get me up, get me out of this, or something like that. And yeah, he was about to have a big old panic attack because I don't know what the deal was. He don't even really. I seen the interview. He's like, yeah, I don't know what happened. But he's like, in all the years that I'd done it, for some reason, that was the only time I got that sense of claustrophobia. And yeah, but I could imagine that mask. I mean, it's got to press his nose in and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that would not be comfortable in any way, shape, or form. Well, think about the guy that played R2 as well.
Well, and he's just like, I have no clue what the fuck I'm even doing here. He's like, I'm just smiling and moving about.
Yeah.
He goes, then they'd forget him in there sometimes, I've heard too. In a few stories.
My goodness.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Kenny Baker, yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So Rob's not back yet. Hopefully, nothing too bad happened here.
Yeah, hopefully Rob's okay.
Yeah,
probably one of his tenants.
Yeah, so I was afraid of, but hopefully it's nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that implies that they may still be shooting. But then Mecca brought to my attention this Ryan Johnson business that I've been so busy about the day that I did not even get to really see. I thought I seen something, but it's like he's always saying something. So
he's always saying something stupid.
Okay, so we got
Lower News Day as well. We're kind of in between stuff this week.
Well, this is just because his movie's coming out and shit too. When is that stupid thing supposed to be coming out?
Oh,
it's around Thanksgiving, I think. Knives Out.
I'm not seeing it. It looked dumb.
Yeah,
it's like a bunch of creepy close-ups of a whole bunch of, here we'll play with the SJW rules. A whole bunch of white people on screen. I don't need to see it. Thank you very much.
Too white.
Yeah, there's not enough diversity in it. So, Ryan Johnson, you failed.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do. I just don't think it's gonna do that well. I know it's got some star power in there, but I mean, if movies have proven anything, star power doesn't mean anything nowadays. And I just don't think it's gonna do terribly well at the box office.
It might do okay because it's going to be out during like a Thanksgiving weekend. And if I didn't know
That's a good
anything
point.
about him, I'd be, it's got like Jamie Lee Curtis, and might be something I'd take my mom to.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna say, yeah, most people aren't gonna know it's a Ryan Johnson movie, and even the only people who are gonna know are the people who give a shit like us. You're gonna get a lot of people like Mecca's talking, like people's moms who are gonna say, "Oh, that boy who plays Captain America's in that, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to see that."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I think it's going to do relatively well on Thanksgiving weekend, and of course, it's reviewed perfectly. No.
Good old critics.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, before you do, I just want to say hi to Captain Robert April. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better today. Stig Kenobi also in the chat there. How you doing, sir? But yeah, if you want to read it, you read much better than I do, and you got a much lovelier voice than I do as well. So
if I can do this without yelling, because I always end up yelling at this.
if you end up yelling, we can't blame you.
Well, this is also okay. So we have a new writer at the Mary Sue, Jessica Mason, another probably brainless millennial, in my opinion. What does she look like? I gotta look. Oh my god! Of course she does. Ugh.
Is it show her in the article here?
Oh, well, just click on her name. Is
Okay.
her? Is it writer based in Portland?
I know this is very important to you. Well, she's not as bad as some of them.
Oh, well, she can't write though.
That don't mean, yeah.
Does she have is that standard to have her pronouns in her bio?
That's it for this fucking thing, yes.
Yeah, it's like we care.
That's why
This article's already got 1,700 comments.
Yeah, that's because everybody's been using it.
Like back in the past, you could tell someone's crazy because they acted crazy or they wore like weird clothes and are threw their feces in the street. Today, it's real easy. It's right, nice and clean. All you gotta do is look in their bio. If they have pronouns in there, you know they're crazy. So,
Yep.
Well, you're not wrong.
Things we saw today. Ryan Johnson has the perfect response to complaints about diversity.
I cannot wait to hear this.
Oh, Ryan
I'm
Johnson
back.
is not. Oh, do you want me to read this, or do you want to read this?
No, you read it.
Ryan
Ryan Johnson appears.
is not here for one complaining about forced diversity in
Shh,
Star Wars.
Ryan, she's reading. That's rude.
He's not here for whiny trolls complaining about forced diversity in Star Wars or anywhere else, and we love him for it. Johnson appeared this week at 25, a 2-day summit in San Francisco focused on tech and talking about the future. Johnson was on hand with young up-and-comer Chris Evan. I really think that kid has a future. Yeah, she's got spelling it. So, Rob, you know what to say?
Proofread your shit.
Did she call him a kid?
She called him Chris Even also. I think she's trying to be cute.
I don't even know if she's as old as he is.
Of
Yeah.
course, they would love Ryan Johnson.
She's
Like,
40. She looks like she's about 45. She's a trained lawyer and opera singer.
Okay.
A mom and an author.
40 cats. 40 cats. She's a mother too because she has 40 cats. And of course, they would love Ryan Johnson though, the man who delivered a fatal gut shot to the Star Wars franchise.
Ugh. The guys took audience questions, and one turned the issue of diversity in Johnson's movie. Oh, which there is none in Knives Out. By the way, absolutely none. And seemed to allude to the negative response of some whiny racist babies to Johnson Last Jedi. Johnson's response: if someone's responding to diversity negatively, fuck them. Watch the exchange below. Like, seriously, like, go through and correct every single time she has a grammatical or spelling mistake in this article. Just as further cements Johnson's status over here as a hero worthy of the film podcast goddess Karina Longsworth. Karina can suck my dick. The only attitude we need to adopt when it comes to the idiots and trolls who complain about movies and the world we live in and tell stories about. Shut up. Oh, just shut up, you stupid cunt. I hate these women. I'm sorry. Get your shit right.
I think everyone does.
Read your article, you stupid.
Thanks. Now you broke Mecca. God damn it!
The Mary Sue is
Just
notorious
had
for
her
doing these things.
fixed. Sorry, what was that, literature devil?
The Mary Sue is notorious for affecting the mind in this way. It's like because wokeness is a brain disease, and it really eats away at the brain. And they kind of it's notoriously it spreads through their words. It's how it's there's no airborne disease. It kind of spreads through articles and stuff, so it kind of affects you that way.
Well, I wonder if I got some kind of lawsuit because like mecha maintenance is not fucking cheap. Sister Harrow, another Australian $2 super chat. Mary Sue. Did I do the right phrase for that face?
I think that sounded good.
Yeah, Mary Sue.
Yeah, spelling is
now apparently though,
so spelling wrong.
Apparently now YouTube is cracking down. Yeah, apparently YouTube is cracking down on the use of emojis, excessive use of emojis. So we got to be careful now.
Oh yeah, I think it was that.
I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why, but it's who knows what. We're all gonna be, we're all gonna be on BitChute anyway in a few months. So.
They're trying to find it
on Pornhub, where I will be reading the same articles. Only instead of the braless bounce, we'll have a $500 full tits out mode.
Did you hear that, folks? But anyway, no, yeah, they're doing whatever they can to get rid of the little guys. Right. Rosetta Allen sent us another super chat. If you want to read that, Rob.
Yes, $2 from Rosetta Allen. The Mary Sue is how to off your brain cells. That is very correct, Rosetta.
This is your brain. Okay. This is your brain on the Mary Sue.
Any questions? Here's one I want to ask. Why the hell is this guy talking about diversity? Like, there's no diversity in his movie. Like, why the hell is he talking?
Yeah, Mecca just kind of said
diversity. Yeah, no, and that's a great point, Mecca. I mean, I think that's what got me thinking. It's like the whole cast is practically white, I think, with the exception of one person.
Mm-hmm.
Virtue signaling.
So this guy's like, fuck him.
That's all it is. Virtue signaling. Look what an open-minded director is. I'm so open-minded. I'm so open. Shut up.
It's because they live in Hollywood, and they're probably and these are Hollywood types. They are all behind closed doors. Are all horrible, despicable human beings. This is why they have to do all this nice face stuff in the open. Yeah. Oh, I love minorities. I love women, strong women, good, diversity in the open, so that they feel less guilty about what they do behind closed doors.
Literature Devil, are you familiar with Gary over at Nerdrotic?
I think he was on the stream yesterday on Doomcock stream, so I think I might have heard of him.
Yes.
So that guy. Yes.
Yeah. He says, actually, he brings up a good point. Hollywood is a town built on cocaine and dead hookers.
Yeah.
And they're preaching to us about how to be better people.
That's what I've been saying for years. That you're trying to tell a Hollywood weirdo. They're trying to tell me how to be a person.
You forgot pedophiles too.
Well, I just call them a bunch of rich asshole millionaires trying to tell us who get our videos constantly demonetized and have to shake our tits for, super chats. Like how, seriously, you preach a little more from your fucking mansion, asshole.
Just the people who fly around the world on their private jets to lecture us about environmentalism. No thanks.
People who do that should, like, put their head in buckets and breathe really deep.
Yeah, I know. It's been happening for years. I know someone who's a big fan of the band U2, and she got really pissed when I said that. For a guy who preaches about fiscal responsibility, he has no problem with driving his Maserati Quattroporte every day to the studio. Hey man, it's not about my money; it's about your money. Hey man.
Well, you stop worrying about my money because it's my money. I want to keep it that way. Thank you very much.
Hey, no, pay no attention to the Italian sports car behind me. Man.
Right.
Or that private jet over there.
Oh yeah, he spends $1,500 to have his private jet fly his hat back from some gig like somewhere. I'm like, yeah, it's about responsibility as long as the responsibility is someone else's. That's my very bad Irish accent. So. Oh God! But I don't understand the need to defend Rian Johnson. You're defending the guy who made the worst Star Wars movie, the guy who destroyed the franchise
single-handedly, almost.
To them, though, he was like their savior. He was the one who rescued the franchise.
From what?
Toxic masculinity.
Didn't you hear JJ's? He freed JJ. I read that article.
How toxic can masculinity be if you take it out and it ruins everything? If it kills a franchise, how toxic was it in the first place?
Man, toxic masculinity was making a lot of money for quite a
Yeah,
while.
it's keeping us alive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was making us breathe. It was flourishing us with new life. You take out the toxicity of masculinity, apparently, and you immediately start dying. It's like you take out all the blood in your body, you would probably die.
See, that's why
Yeah.
I call these Mary Sue writers just
Yeah.
cum stains, because they forget where they came from. They forget that they were squirted out of a guy's dick, and they don't understand. Just to be blunt about it, they don't understand that they're so anti half of what they are, and it's just this derangement, is this idiocy that's running around. It's like they're not capable of independent thought due to a lot of our school system, probably, no doubt, but they just have to go around impressing each other, reciting back the same bullshit, and it just, seriously, grow a thought, grow a brain, people.
No, a school system actually has to teach them something to actually give them some sort of idea of what independent thought is. School system sucks. That's half the problem. The other half the problem is just social media in general. So you have to conform or you're going to get canceled.
Oh, like some little kid was on there yesterday saying, "Oh, Robert Downey, I don't care if he was Iron Man. Somebody should do something about Robert Downey Jr."
Oh, because they finally discovered Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
I saw a screenshot of it.
I'm like, don't anybody tell her that he was nominated for an Oscar for that either, because then her fucking mind will fucking explode.
That's how you know all these Mary Sue writers and all these weirdos who just walk around canceling people, saying, "I'm such a big fan of Star Wars. I've been such a big fan of Star." That's how you know they're a bunch of big, ugly, hideous liars. Is that they've been that was a meme. The blackface of his blackface has been a meme this whole time. That don't go full retard or whatever it is.
That's because they never figured out it was him.
They
That's
don't.
the
They
thing.
don't know pop culture.
Before their time. That's the thing. Oh, that's before my time. I was
They
like,
probably thought it was Carl Weathers or something. They didn't know.
when did that movie come out? Like
So dumb.
2007 or something?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
they were probably all watching.
They were
whatever
fetuses at that point, probably. But anyway, that's the thing. And it's like, why shit on that? I don't know a shit ton of black people, but I know some. I have yet to have one black person go, you know what? That really pissed me off when Robert Downey Jr. played that black guy in Tropic Thunder.
Exactly. I always say, don't
Not
get
one.
offended on behalf of
Yeah.
other people. Other people who are offended, who this actually would offend, will say something, right? You don't need to be the little white savior for them to be offended on their behalf. That's even worse, you dumb idiots.
Yeah, the one thing they're bringing back is the white man's burden and segregation. Thank you very much, woke people.
Uh-huh.
I always
Thank you very much.
I always say people like Ryan Johnson always preach about, oh, I just love diverse. They're the kind of guys that move into Brooklyn and Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and they say, I feel so in touch with the diversity of the city. And they're the ones that have helped gentrify it by moving in and raising rents and pushing out all the minorities and the elderly who have lived there for years and can no longer, while you go buy artisan mayonnaise, geez.
The people who pat themselves on the back because they ate Taco Bell.
Yeah. I just love ethnic food. Yeah, Chipotle. Yeah.
Yes, the same people that talk about saving whatever, the inner cities and all that kind of crap, but God forbid they'd ever let a black person move in on their block. They'd lose their minds.
And the same people who want to go flee to Canada rather than Mexico.
Yeah.
You built the wall. You're staying out, buddy.
Fine.
You got a good shit in here.
What did Snoop Dogg wanted to go to Africa, but he wanted to go to the white part of Africa.
She's Sophie.
I was like, come on. At least go to the black part of Africa.
If you're going to go to Africa, do it right.
They
got
stay
a couple-
consistent.
We got a couple super chats we got to catch up on real quick. Rosetta Allen, another $2. Thank you so much. Go woke, turn into Ryan Ruin Face Johnson. Hey. The next one we got here is I Want to Believe. $5. Do you want to read this one, Rob?
Sure, why not? Some anti-SJW Star Wars fans still thinks Episode 9 is still filming.
It was as of 2 days ago.
That may be plausible.
Mhm.
With digital, everything is digital now, so it's
Yeah.
Even if everything is digital now. You could very well film something in the morning and have it inserted into the film by night. I mean, who says, J.J. Abrams admitted he shot a scene from Star Trek Into Darkness on his iPhone.
Yeah, it looks like.
Really?
He did?
Yeah. The Ice Cube scene from Into Darkness when he was in the bar. He said he shot that on his iPhone. So,
I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
He's
did.
telling
Star
the
Trek.
truth.
Major motion picture shot on an iPhone.
Yeah, one more super chat two more super chats before we move on. Speaker for the dead. I'm sorry about that. $1.99. Ryan Johnson is definitely self-pardoned. Yeah, he's up his own ass. That's for sure.
I think he preferred to be, because judging from what I've seen from Ryan Johnson, the only person he could ever love is himself.
My mom always told me I was cool.
Exactly, Ryan. I know.
I think even then he'd fail.
Right. Matt G, $2. Why does the Mary Sue like Chris Evans? LOL. Well, that's because Chris Evans is it's his political association. That's why. Because even though he's quieter than the rest, he's just
he's the guy they feel they can tame. That's what it is.
Well, he has the same political views as most of his Avengers cast. Let's put it that way. I mean, but he's not as vocal about them. That's all.
I hate saying this. Chris Evans would have been at Lilith Fair back in the 90s trying to pick up girls, saying, "Yeah, I really love Annie DeFranco. It really makes you feel in touch with feminine issues and the struggles of women today." And he starts to believe it. That's the thing.
We got another super chat. Mr. Wolverine 007. $2.
For making Mary do spit take last night.
Yeah, that's my fault. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
and it's not as dirty as it sounds, believe me. I wish it was. Mark Ruffalo likes to ruffle feathers, that's right, and so does Chris Evans from time to time.
Okay. Serious question now. How does everyone think Knives Out's going to do? Because I'm hoping it's going to bomb. It's going to get all kinds of accolades.
It'll do well enough.
What's that other big movie coming out this weekend? There's something else coming.
Ford vs. Ferrari coming out this weekend.
Yeah, you were talking about that. I think that's going to do better than people think. And you want to know why?
Tom Hanks with the Rogers movie is coming out next week too.
Well, I think that
that's right, yeah.
I think that Ford versus Ferrari is going to do a hell of a lot better than they expect, because the same crowd showed up for Midway this weekend is going to show up for that.
It's a guy movie.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have a lot of older guys, and I've noticed lately when I go to movies, especially on opening day, it's weird. I've seen a lot more elderly people, like people out there called boomers. So there's people that are interested in movies and, of all ages. And when you make a movie like Midway that's going to appeal to them, they will go. You make a movie like Ford versus Ferrari, I bet they will go. Now, Knives Out does pose some competition, but not as much as Ford versus Ferrari, I think.
Charlie's Angels is coming out.
Oh, fuck, that's dead in the water. that thing,
gosh, that is dead. DOA.
Talk about too soon anyway. We got another couple super chats, I think, here, Rob. Or just at least one anyway.
Captain Robert April, $2. I fully expect episode X to be pushed back.
Nah,
it's not going to be. No, that's going to get released come hell or high water.
No.
It's just and he was working on. I think both Ryan and JJ were working on The Force Awakens and Last Jedi, respectively, damn near up to the hilt. The only other, actually, maybe Ryan Johnson had Last Jedi done earlier. I don't remember, but that's just because they let him do whatever fuck he wanted.
If anybody wants to see something cool, though, if you're going to go see Ford versus Ferrari this weekend, or sometime soon, go on.
You should wait till next weekend, Rob.
I really want to see it, though.
but you could take a date next weekend.
I could.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway, we digress. But go on YouTube and look up Carroll Shelby, and you'll see there's a 15-minute video he did about the Shelby racing team. And Kenny Miles, who's Christian Bale portrays in the Ford versus Ferrari, he's one of the drivers in it.
Well, and I know it might do well because my dad doesn't really give a crap about movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's seen the previews and shit for this, and he's like, oh, that looks good. He's not going to necessarily go. He's not the type who's going to necessarily go to the theater. But that usually tells me that this movie's going to have a little bit broader audience for it, possibly.
I'll tell you, though, there's another great story about in the history of Ferrari when, not related to Ford, but and I think I've told you, I've probably told you this, Tom. I've told a lot of people this story. But Lamborghini started originally as they made tractors. They made farm tractors. And Ferdinand Lamborghini, he wanted to buy a car from Ferrari. So he said to Enzo, "You're going to sell me a car? Get out of here. Get out of here." Like the old paisans do. You know, get lost. And so he wouldn't sell him a car. And so somebody brought a Ferrari to Lamborghini's tractor factory. I've been everywhere. This, I can't figure out what's wrong. They say it's a bad clutch. He goes, let me get the clutch. Took a clutch from the tractor, put it in the car. Then he drove it to Maranello, where the Ferrari headquarters is. Old man Lamborghini said to Enzo, "Hey, look, I fixed your car. It works better than when the day it came out of the factory. You're going to sell me a car or not? Come on, sell me a car." Enzo says, "Yeah, go back to making tractors, you dumb farmer." And Ferdinand Lamborghini said, "Oh, yeah? We'll see about that." And he started Lamborghini as a car company out of spite, just to spite Enzo. And it's just like, yeah, that's that, and that's about that. That sounds about right. And the first cars, the Lamborghini Miura, when you open the doors, it was designed to look like the horns of a bull because, yeah, Ferrari has the prancing horse, but the bull is a stronger animal. He wanted that strong image for just to stick it to Enzo. I'm like, you know what? Some of the greatest things ever done in history have been done out of spite, haven't they?
It's kind of how Walmart started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're riveted by that story, and I don't have an ending for it, so we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I can lead off that. Speaking of spite, Stephen King never really did like The Shining.
It's true.
Stanley Kubrick's Shining. And he did claim that this new movie supposedly fixed it, but it didn't fix it for folks out there in movie land. They didn't go see it. I thought about going to see it, but I just didn't get out to see it. But yeah, Rob, I sent you the story there. I mean, I got a few. I got a few reasons why this movie failed, but we'll get to that after you run through this real quick.
Dr. Sleep set to lose $20 million for Warner Brothers in trio of fall duds, but Joker, It Chapter 2. Please, are you going to tell me the name of this movie or not?
Oh, not
It Chapter 2. How am I supposed to know what movie they're talking about?
It's kind of overrated.
All it says is It Chapter 2. If you're not going to tell me the movie, man, come on. All right, that's lame. And lame non sequitur. You won't get very far in life not saying the word is. To deliver $600 million in profit. Okay. Finance sources tell us today that Warner Brothers weekend Stephen King upset Dr. Sleep is poised to lose around $20 million after all ancillaries should it earn $100 million at the global box office. If ticket sales are lower in the $80 million range, then the loss swells to around $30 million. This comes after the grand underperformance of the mid $50 million Warner Brothers horror production, a studio which often hits home runs in the horror field off its New Line label, not to mention its third dud from the Burbank lot in a row after the fall releases of The Goldfinch, never heard of it, reported $50 million loss, and Motherless Brooklyn, studio exposure less than 25% and on $26 million production, only rank up, wow, 7.5 million worldwide today. Holy cow. By comparison, the reboot of Pet Sematary from Paramount made over $112 million worldwide back in the spring off a $20 million production cost. I hear Warner suits are baffled and saddened by how well reviewed the movie was, 74% fresh, and the good audience polled. Movie like Dr. Sleep with a B+ cinema score and 4 stars, 82% fresh. Post-track just crapped the bed. This one will have them Monday morning quarterbacking tomorrow. Tom, I'm not familiar with this. Have you read this Stephen King book or not?
I haven't read the book, but I'm more than well aware of the movie. And what happened is you decided to make a sequel to a movie that came out 40 fucking years ago. And not only that, it's a movie that arguably it's well known among like us, but I wouldn't argue that it's mostly well known by the general audience anymore because it's so old and it didn't have 12 sequels. As far as Stephen King stories go, it's probably lower on the list. I mean, look at it, look at Pet Sematary. Those are in the top 5, I'd boast. It took Warner Brothers by surprise, so I don't know why they're surprised this underperformed. You spent way too much money on a sequel to The Shining. I don't think The Shining did that well in the box office when it first came out either. I believe that was more of a cult hit on video and cable afterwards.
Well, yeah, and you had Stanley Kubrick behind the movie of that, so people who aren't even fans of the Stephen King books can still get something out of it as an interesting sort of psychological thriller. I wouldn't even call it a horror movie, but
yeah. If Stanley Kubrick was still around and he directed this, I'd probably go and see it. But
Stanley Kubrick was one of those masterpieces. He was one of those geniuses that you don't really see that often. If you look at every facet of The Shining, he really put an edge on what usually are not so good movies when it comes to Stephen King. So they're kind of soft, kind of had that little silliness to them in the center. But The Shining in particular, because it was run by Kubrick, had that fear element, actually had real legitimate fear, real legitimate ominous feeling to it, and was overall very well done.
You want to know? I watched the Shining the other night in preparation for possibly going to see this, and I figured out what Kubrick's version of The Shining is about. It's about a man who gave up drinking. I'm not fucking kidding. If you watch the movie with that mentality, you'll totally understand what I'm saying.
You ever see Room 237?
No, but I know what it is. It's a documentary.
Yeah.
I like the Simpsons version of The Shining, actually.
The Shining.
Go ahead, boy. You want to get sued?
Yeah, I'm not surprised this movie just didn't do all that well. I mean, Stephen King movies, I mean, if you think about it, they did, it was a movie that actually found success, like both films, but really, when you think about it, what was the other one? Dark Tower? That bombed.
Yeah, that had bad luck in there.
Yeah.
I keep saying about Dark Tower, it sort of proves that Idris Elba is not a leading man.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing Hollywood keeps forgetting whenever a Stephen King movie hits every few years is that most Stephen King stories are barely TV movie worthy, and half the time they'd get him wrong there too. And first of all, his first bunch of books are so coke fueled crazy fucking shit that you can't really fucking film them anyway. And then the stuff after that is such meandering fucking pretentious shit.
Have you ever read it? It's very verbose. Everyone know where it's going. It's ridiculous.
Because he had no clue where he was going. He was so fucking coked up, he don't even remember writing it. He's even said that.
Yeah, Shawshank. Well, it's funny because Shawshank Redemption is actually one of the Stephen King movies that it's not even like it doesn't fall into
his stronger shit is his non-horror.
Yeah.
Look at Shawshank Redemption. Look at Stand By Me. Look at The Green Mile. All these and Misery, you could even kind of say is more not even really a horror film per se.
But we're at the point now. It seems like the parodies of Stephen King novels and Stephen King based films are actually more memorable than the actual film. How many times do Stephen King stuff on Family Guy?
Well, and it was big for a few different reasons because it was one of those miniseries that lived on and on and on video. I'm willing to bet that it has been on video more times than Roots, as far as like the most times a TV movie's ever been on video that isn't public domain. You know what I mean? So that movie carried through generations. So you had that aspect of it. You had the other aspect of the scary clown. Period. That just registers with kids. Look at the Joker. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the scary clown is the new thing. It's the new boogeyman. You know, it just has been for the last, I don't know, dozen years or so. It just became like this thing. I go to any video store back in the day and you'd walk through the horror section. There's 10 killer clown movies. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Killer clown from space, killer clown, it's a certain whatever. Yeah.
Hey, don't knock killer clowns from outer space. That's way more watchable.
Which is weird that Stephen King never sued the Chiodo brothers for that, because that is you think about it, it's basically a parody of it.
It's like, screw it. It's not even worth it.
I mean, because
they didn't even make any money.
No, but they are making a sequel or a reboot or whatever for Sci-Fi.
That's funny.
I hope they're making money because I bought a T-shirt a couple of years ago. Hopefully they're making money off of the T-shirt.
I have no idea. I should ask because I do talk to Charles once in a while. I've been wanting to get an interview with him, but he wants to be able to do it with the brothers, and they're hard to tie down, all three of them at once. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'll have to ask him about that, because I think I asked him if they were involved with this and Critters, and he said no. So I think they sold the rights, is what I'm thinking.
All right, but let me ask you though. I mean, are we starting to see a box office collapse at the movies?
No, the other third reason or whatever, I don't remember how many, I've lost count now, that this movie didn't do what it was supposed to do, is you opened it up against the movie I said, Midway, and a week late. This should have opened last week. Why didn't they open this over Halloween?
Makes sense. Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking?
The marketing is an absolute fail too. Like this movie to me wasn't really advertised like the sequel to The Shining. And it's kind of like, what the hell is this, Dr. Sleep? I mean, if you watched the preview, like you got the idea, you knew it was, but it wasn't like out there that, hey, there's this movie that's a sequel to The Shining. Like Dr. Sleep, they might as well have called it The Shining 2, or I don't know. Like they would have been better off calling it that. I mean, it would have been more clickbaity, but
yeah, like,
you probably would have got more
Shining 2, Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Shining Returns or Shining Continues even would be better than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt G, $5 super chat. Lucasfilm gave us one of its actors its awards. I think it's fair. In other news, Midnight's Edge gives Mecca award for best female YouTuber since 2010. We give her all kinds of awards. I think Rob gives her new awards every night.
You do?
She's got like an Emmy, an Oscar. What else?
Grammy, maybe.
Grammy. I think she just needs a Nobel Peace Prize. She's almost 2/3 of the way to a, what is that when you get all of them? The EGOT?
AVN award.
She needs a Tony. That's what she needs.
That's it. Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, this is just too little, too late. I mean, what do you expect here? And if you had any chance with this, it should have opened last weekend anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the book.
I think the name sucks, like Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Like, think about how boring of a name that is, Sleep. Like, Dr. Sleep. Like, I don't know. It's just,
Well, they don't
even though
change it, right, from the book, but I get it. It's like, yeah, it's just blah. It doesn't make me want to go see the movie.
yeah, it's like subconsciously you think you're gonna fall asleep if you go and see this movie.
They need an iconic, like an iconic picture, like Jack Nicholson with an axe, the clown from It. They need something iconic and visual to go with that. So, Dr. Sleep by itself, I don't know. That might be like I don't know. That could be a romantic comedy for all I know. But
yeah,
what they could have done was give us a monster or something, like something creepy, like a visual, like a even It had the clown and the red balloon. The red balloon is another icon from It. We need something with Dr. Sleep to associate with it.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that's a good point.
And the posters, I guess that's another thing somebody was saying, because I think one of the posters was just like him looking through the door like Jack was through the other one, but it's not the same face, so there's no real context there. It just looks like somebody looking through a gash of white paint, probably. And then the other one has little Danny on the trike or whatever, and yeah, so it's like you're not sure what you're getting yourself into necessarily. And I've heard the movie's okay, but the problem is until about the last third of the movie is when it actually becomes more of a sequel to The Shining, I guess, because I guess it takes them that long to get to the hotel. Spoilers, but yeah. Anyways, we got another super chat, Rob.
It takes me 20 minutes to drive to the actual hotel that inspired it. Like,
yeah, I know, right? It's right there in Colorado, ain't it?
Zach Frederick, $2. What do you guys think about the new Candyman?
I'm not for it since they're not going to have Tony Todd playing, from what I heard. So what's the point of having it?
You can
Because it's
take
supposed to be a sequel, yeah. Not that Candyman, Rob.
Hey, singers. Listening with you. Hey, man. Hey, who's sitting there? Hey, come on, man.
Wrong Candyman.
Ching.
I keep telling you that every time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we blew through our news. Hopefully our guests are here for a little bit. Did you want to ask our guests any questions, Rob, especially Literature Devil, since you got him here?
I mean, I don't a lot of stuff he does in his video. I mean, where do you get your inspiration for your videos? I mean, it's just like the deep dives you do are just fantastic.
I just look around for like questions that people are posing, and I just try to answer them the best way I can. And I learn, like I said, a lot of my techniques I just either learned or developed during college, because I went into literature and writing, so I had to write a lot of essays, and that's basically what you do to get good grades on those things. You have to really look at things in different ways. I even took critical thinking and philosophy as separate classes, so that and they teach you how to do a deep dive into there and to take things apart critically, that sort of thing. And it's a lot of fun. But what I really find for topics is there's just questions I find I see roaming around, like people posing that Rey and Luke Skywalker are both Mary Sues. Like if Rey's a Mary Sue, then Luke Skywalker has to be Mary Sue. And I'm saying no, that's not true at all. it's dumb. And so I made a video about it, and then I had it'd be interesting if we could explore different writing styles, and so that's where my West versus East writing storytelling video came from.
That's cool.
I have just one another thing. We've had Professor Geek on.
Mhm.
Actually, getting to you in the same room would be mind blowing. I mean, it's two academics. You both have similar backgrounds, it seems. I don't know if you're familiar with Professor Geek at all.
Yeah, people have been telling me to get on stream with him too.
Maybe we'll have to make that happen.
Yeah. But one of the things though that drives me up a wall, and it probably drives you up a wall, is when I hear people say as justification, like for James Bond, oh, why can't you do this with James? All the change you're making James Bond or Batman or whatever. And they always seem to default back to the same argument. These are fictional characters. You can do whatever you want with them. And it just makes me want to pull my hair out. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is about today's modern audience, or if it's just the Twitterati, or I don't know what it is, but and I keep arguing, no, you can't do whatever you want with them. If you do something, there has to be a damn good reason. And like this new show, Batwoman, for instance, they said Bruce Wayne Batman has disappeared for 3 years. I'm like, why did he disappear? And they don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, to be more concise, I always bitch about the rules. You got to make your rules and follow your rules.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Yeah.
When you create a universe, create character, you have rules. You establish rules, and you have to follow those rules. I see so many times people are willing to throw out those rules just to justify whatever they want to do to something. You know, it's headache inducing. Actually, jeez. I mean,
they want it one way, but they won't accept it the other way. So if you take example of Iceman from Marvel, they gleefully turned a straight man gay, and they say, well, if you don't like this, then you're a bigot. But if you would do it the other way around, turn a traditionally gay character straight, you think they would accept that? I don't think so. It's not about, well, you can do whatever you want, because it's about diversity, etc. Diversity is just an excuse. It's just a shield, so they can disregard any criticism. They just want to destroy things. They just want to interrupt the traditions with their own deranged ideologies. But yes, it's very frustrating because it's not how these people are. And they say, well, they need more people of color in media, so we're going to turn Superman into a Mexican or something, which they would never do. They don't really care about Hispanics or Mexicans unless they're illegal. But other than that, it doesn't really that's their wheelhouse. They want to take things that are already popular and infect them. they can't make things on their own. I've seen them try to make things, in fact, and they always fail because they don't know how to do them. They don't know how to make things that people actually like, so they have to infect other things. And they use, well, you're a bigot, you're a XYZ istrophobe as an excuse for taking over these already popularized franchises. But popularized franchises, by the way, most of which have been made by the fans, have been produced and made popular by the fans, and were done predominantly. Most of the things that we've seen were done by certain demographics, like the sci-fi demographic, or the people who like fantasy, or people who like X, Y, and Z demographic. And when they move in, they don't want these demographics anymore. They want to alienate the people who made these franchises popular in the first place. And they do that by infecting all the stuff that's popular, and then cutting off all the stuff they don't like, and then moving forward as if they've achieved something grand or new.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things I've said before, and this always gets those type gets people who do that. When, let's just say, Riri Williams is a good example. I mean, you're taking an established character, and now you're just introducing a new character who is just ridiculously lame. And I say, oh well, this is good for diversity. And I always say, yeah, but don't you want a character to stand on their own, to have their own identity, and not just glom onto the identity of a more popular character and ride their coattails? I mean, don't you think this does disservice to your cause, diversity? Because when this character fails, you're just going to go right back to Tony Stark.
Exactly, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They say it's for diversity. They say it's to make XYZ demographics feel included. But how insulting is it that they look down on these people at such a length that they don't believe that characters with XYZ demographic traits would succeed on their own? They have to replace an already traditionally established character to do so. I mean, that's more insulting, I think, than not being included at all. I mean, it tells me that you're not good enough on your own to succeed. We have to supplement another character. We have to change another already established character, something with already popular, in order for you to succeed. And it's not because they won't succeed. Like if you create a gay character or a black character, it's not that they won't succeed. It's that the people behind them are usually terrible and awful at their jobs.
Right, and I say that it's pretty much the same thing you just said almost all the time too. But I gotta ask you guys, not to change gears, both John and Literature Double, what YouTubers got you guys into YouTube? I mean, obviously you probably had some kind of inspirations, if not even YouTubers, other people outside of YouTube, maybe even. John, let's start with you.
Well, I would say that, I'd say Pewds was kind of a big inspiration. I mean, he's kind of he's the king of YouTube. I wasn't necessarily like the biggest fan of his content per se, but I respected, his ability to make it entertaining, to make it fun, to make his content fun. And, it kind of took a while for me to figure out exactly what was going to be, my niche that I was going to be doing. Cause I was doing YouTube just for fun, and I was doing all sorts of different things. And I didn't really take it too seriously for some time. But then I started covering like more pop culture stuff. And I think that was, coming into like fall of 2017. But yeah, I guess I was watching a number of different channels, but I think PewDiePie was probably, I know it sounds kind of lame, but he was definitely like I guess you could say like an inspiration of what, I mean, obviously the pinnacle of what you could do in terms of, YouTube, but
right.
Yeah. But I mean, as I went on and I started covering, Star Wars, of course, I became acquainted with these, great channels such as, Geeks and Gamers, SE Reviews. And that's when I got involved in YouTube a lot more. And then I was actually watching YouTube even more, a lot more than I was before. And so, a lot of these channels within the Fandom Menace now definitely have had, I'm sure, I know I've probably, you borrow stuff, or you might take a little bit here or there. I'm sure, like unconsciously or consciously. So, I think it's been, Yeah, I have to say it's kind of difficult to pinpoint, one channel per se, because it was
Right.
like so many,
Right. No, but yeah, I remember hearing about. I think Mecca told me about you a while back, and then next thing I think everybody's talking about you. So
back
yeah,
when he was John Talks Star Wars is when I
yeah, I think that's
yeah.
what. I was gonna say it was a while ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
kind of cool
definitely
to
was a
see you
while.
rise up the ranks and become a bigger part of the community. I'm gonna do this super chat, and then we'll let Literature Double answer the question. Laser Lancer, Canadian $5. Rob, you want to read it?
That very destructive diversity crud happened to the SCP Wiki community a couple of years ago. These people pushed folks out who made SCP.
It was creepy stuff. They're always creepy over there. The SJWs and NPCs invaded the SCP wiki in a very weird manner. They started with the mods and they worked their way down, as far as I heard.
So yeah, who got you into the YouTubes then, Literature Devil? Who were your inspirations?
I watched YouTube for a long time, but I started really getting inspired to create actual videos by the political sphere. I guess you call them the skeptics now, like Sargon of Akkad, Undoomed, maybe a little bit of the Amazing Atheist, I guess. And then I figured out, well, this looks like fun. I want to do this. But as far as I thought about doing it, it's like, I really want to talk about politics all the time. I don't really want to. It's not because I figured out it's not really what I'm into. It's not really politics directly isn't what I'm into. It's how politics is affecting modern media storytelling in the movies, because that was actually what I was interested in, is the flow of storytelling and how these weirdo politics are infecting the media that we have, like comics and movies and television shows, etc.
Right.
And so finally, it took a while. It took maybe a year or so before I really started making my own, and really started thinking about making my own videos. And by that time, I think the skeptic community got so full of itself as they love the stench of their own farts at that time. So I wanted to pull away from that. I didn't want to just rely on, okay, here's the next video I'm going to critique. I wanted to do something that I just wanted to do what I did pretty much in college, just take a deep dive into something I'm interested in. And I did. But I wanted to have a combination of media and the political pressure that's pressing onto it. So that's when my very first video, Can a Hero Be Racist? It's a little mix of both. It's actually one of the most popular videos on my channel, I believe. That's pretty much how I got my start.
Well, that's cool. And yeah,
Nice.
You've had a lot of success since then, it looks like. So we're glad to have you on the show, and John Talks as well. So I don't know if you want to keep this going, Rob, or did we have anything else to talk about, or did we want to wrap this up sooner?
Oh, we can wrap it up if you want. I mean, I think it's about a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're keeping it under 90.
Yeah.
We want to thank our lovely panel and our lovely guests, and also all you lovely viewers out there for being a part of the show. And thank you so much for the super chats. Without you guys, we couldn't keep the lights on. So
I'll say one more thing.
Yes, absolutely.
If you didn't like Dr. Sleep, check out Dr. Alpha. It's on,
there you go. See?
Nice.
There you go. Nice plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, if you want to plug that one more time, just go right ahead. Just go right ahead.
If you didn't,
get the thing
Dr. Alpha, Miracle Child. It's my comic that I'm writing. It's currently funding 18 more days to the deadline. It's going to be about 80 to 100 pages. It's basically heavily inspired from Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, with the pulp style of Frank Miller. And anyone and everyone who backs it at this level, at least as long as you provided like an email address, will be able to access an extra bonus story that will be available by Christmas, the digital version anyway, called Lady Midnight, The Jolly Goodbye. And that is directly inspired from Frank Miller's Sin City. It's a black and white noir style short story. Mm-hmm. But it's something you'll get for backing this campaign, and it'll never be available again. This is the only people who can have access to that particular story are people who back this particular campaign.
All right. Well, head on over there. Head on over to Indiegogo and back Dr. Alpha. You get some bonus content too. All right. Very cool. All right.
Like super chat.
Yeah, another super chat. Darathon 405, $5 super chat. What do you call 1,000 politicians at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Oh,
oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
That's a good place to end it. We'd like to thank John Talks. We'd like to thank Literature Devil, Mecha Random. We'd like to thank all our super chatters, everybody. Like I said, head on over to these fine gentlemen's channels. Subscribe there. Make sure you're subscribed here. Click the bell icon. So make sure you're subscribed to the main channel. Click the bell icon and ring the bell for notifications because YouTube is a bad habit of unsubscribing people. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, our super chatters, everybody in the audience, and we will catch you next time.
Ben Shakira.
Dune buggies.
I kick your ass, you sick bastard!
I like big Asian butts, and I cannot lie.